Hi, it's Dave again. Um, had a little bit of a break, and I was discussing with a friend earlier about the Course in Miracles, and one of the big subjects in the Course in Miracles is guilt. Guilt is one of the foundation stones on which the ego builds, and it is the basis for the undoing of our peace of mind. So what do we do with it? How can we deal with it? Well, the Course says very clearly, if you wish to undo darkness, bring it to the light. Well, we're not talking about torches and we're not talking about shadows. So what is this light? What is this dark? Well, again, the Course is very clear. The light is enlightenment, it is truth, it's insight, it's understanding. And the darkness is basically misunderstanding, it's confusion, and it's false belief. So if we bring false belief to truth, truth will undo it. And this is the message in the Course in Miracles. Bring your darkness to the light. It suggests you do it through prayer. It also suggests that if you don't pray, other people will speak to you, and sometimes the light in somebody else will speak to you and bring the message of the light to you in your darkness. Now, I heard a lovely story about 20 years ago. A friend of mine was telling me this story. I was originally trained as a traditional Chinese acupuncturist in the 5-element system, and when I was at the college training, my friend Graham started to tell me this story about so many people were taking laxatives because they couldn't go to the toilet, because they were holding on to emotional stuff, and the body was simply reflecting the way the mind was operating. And he told a story of a group of climbers that were going up to do an attempt on Everest, and they went up with Sherpas, and these Sherpas were very happy fellas, good bunch of guys, you know, sort that you'd be happy to have around. When they stopped for a break, they'd whip out a football or a frisbee or something and they'd play. And they got to so far up a glacier to what was called a mailing post, and some supplies and mail had been dropped in that day by parachute. And this particular Sherpa had got a letter from his wife back at wherever they were from, base camp somewhere in the town, and it said, I'm really sorry, but I've left you, and when you get back all my things will be gone, and I've gone off with another man, and I'm really sorry, I don't want to hurt you, but this is what's happened. So Graham was saying, what would a typical English guy do? And I said, well, you know, if you got that kind of message at work, you'd probably go to the toilet and you'd sit in the toilet, close the toilet door, and you'd read it in private. And you might get upset about it. Irrefutably, you get upset, but you might cry, you might feel angry, you might feel betrayed, you might feel whatever you feel. And then you'd put the envelope in your pocket and you'd go back, you'd wash your face to hide any tears or anything like that, and then you'd go back to your workplace, and if anybody said, "Are you okay?" you'd say, "Oh yes, fine, thanks, how are you?" Because that's what we do in Britain. And he said what the Sherpa did was, he said to his mates, hey, come here, gather round, I got to share this with you. And he got the envelope out and he read it to them, and he said, you know, she's left me, she's gone off with another man. And they all came and gave him a hug and said, you know, we like you, man, you know, you're cool, you're great, you're one of us. And he had a cry, and they took it in turns at, you know, kind of massaging his neck and saying, don't worry about it, you know. And the next day they got up and they set off for Everest, and according to the fellow that brought the story back, he said this guy seemed pretty much okay. I mean, obviously he wouldn't be over it, but if you compare the way he dealt with it and the way that so many other people would have dealt with it, the secrecy, I think, is what makes it bad. The reason that we wouldn't share it is that we'd think, well, if I tell them, if I tell my friends what's happened, they're going to judge me. They're going to make me wrong. They're going to say, well, you wasn't a good enough husband. You know, you're not clever enough, you're not handsome enough, you're not kind enough, you're not dashing enough, etc., etc. So we'd expect to get a lot of criticism. But in that culture, somehow, it was okay for him to do that. And I bet they don't use half as many laxatives in that country as we do in this country. I wonder if there's a correlation. I suspect there is. Now, another story that I heard, it was only last year in fact, was about a tribe of Indians that live in the rainforest in South America. And this tribe have the habit of, they go to bed at night, and when they sleep, they get up in the morning and they share their dreams. So they go off into the dream world in the night, but when they come back, they tell everybody in the tribe the next day. And while they sit around and eat first thing in the morning before they go out hunting or gathering, they take time to share what happened in the dreams. And the remarkable thing is that in the entire history of the tribe, there has never been any report of mental illness. Is this a coincidence? If we have no dark secrets, if we bring our darkness to the light and have it healed by the power of the light, and in this case the power of the light is the love that you receive from the other villagers, from the other Indians in the tribe. If their light says, hey, you know, you dreamt about, you killed, I don't know, you killed your uncle or something, or you know, you had an affair with the girl down the road or something, and they say, oh yeah, we can understand why you'd feel like that, and it's not made wrong, then why would you become mentally ill? I don't think you would. I think actually honesty is a great way of healing things. The other example that brought this home to me was a few years ago. There was a case close to where I lived where a young lad was captured and held against his will, and awful things were done to him. I'm not going to be specific, and certainly no names. But his counsellor, I think, was quite enlightened, and his counsellor said to him, I want you to tell everybody what happened to you. And I met this young man, and I have to say, he told me about it, and he seemed like a man at peace. I think honesty works. Bring your darkness to the light. Tell your story to somebody. Share it. As there used to be a clairvoyant on the telly years ago, and she used to say, a problem shared is a problem halved. Halve your problems, then halve them again, then halve them again. Eventually they get so small, you haven't got a problem. Thank you.